Alright, what is up guys, JaretCampisi. Welcome back to the channel. Today is a very exciting day because I have a 2020 Ducati Monster 1200S black on black, and I cannot wait to do a first ride for you guys. So enjoy. Okay. Once again, we're going to be joined by the beautiful Miss Christina K. All links to her social media will be in the description below if you're interested. So if you guys saw my last first ride video I did on the Monster 821 Dark Stealth Edition, this might look similar to the naked eye. However, this is very, very different for a few reasons. First off, this bike has 150 horsepower. The 821 only had 109 horsepower. So up about 40 horsepower. This is the 1200S. With the S model, you do get the cool painted rims. I do think that those should be forged aluminum for this price. You also get the Öhlins mechanically adjustable front and rear suspension. You also get a daytime running light, and you get upgraded brakes. These are the Brembo M50 monoblock calipers. On this model itself, like I said, it's a 2020 Ducati Monster 1200S. You do get a lot of electronics, and you're gonna need them because it's a lot of power. ABS, traction control, wheelie control, rider modes, cornering ABS. It has a lean angle sensor in there that ties in all the electronics. So this is the top of the Monster range unless you step up to the R, but this really is the, you know, the cream of the crop. It's coming in around that 17,500 price point, so it is, you know, a good amount of money. But if you compare that to the Streetfighter, which is starting at 20,000 going all the way up to 23, 24,000, it is a bit below that, and I guess for good reason. It's a little bit of an older platform, but it's tried and true. And honestly guys, if you saw my 821 review, I absolutely love that bike. Christina rode it, she loved that bike. So the only thing I thought that bike maybe could have used is a little bit more power. So that's what this bike is. So I could see this being like one of my all-time favorite bikes, and I'm really, really excited to ride it. So I think that's really just about all there needs to be said right now. So actually, before we leave, one other thing I'll show you is just how I look on the bike, since you're not going to get that from the GoPro footage. It does feel maybe a tiny bit bigger than the 821. What did you think, teams? Sitting on
slightly.
The gas tank, I think maybe is a little bit bigger, but it's pretty damn close, like seat height and all that. You can see I'm 5'10". I can flat foot this very easily, and actually this bike does come with an adjustable seat height built in. I think you can move it like 10 millimeters up or down, which is really, really cool too. But this is how I look on the bike. I'm
5'4" and I can touch the ground. I'm on my tips of my toes.
Teens was like on the balls of her feet like this. So it doesn't really feel that much heavier or bigger than the 821. So you know, this is what the riding position looks like. Very comfortable. Oh, I cannot wait to ride this thing. Actually, here, I'll start it up for you guys real quick too. I'm not gonna rev it because I'm in a development, but folks, here we are, first ride on the 2020 Ducati Monster 1200S. Holy shit, I can feel that front wheel floating. My god, even with the wheelie control on. Jesus. Okay, wow. So this is not a beginner bike. Holy shit balls. Damn, dude, that front wheel just wants to float constantly. Oh, I hope you guys can hear those exhaust sounds. Holy crap, dude, even with the stock exhaust. Damn, dude, this thing freaking rips. Oh, wow. Holy shit balls. Damn. Like, it's weird because I have the 2020 Streetfighter. This is a V4 that makes 208 horsepower. This is 150, but because of the punchy power band of the V-twin, like floating, wow, this feels a lot faster because of how it makes that power. Dude, this is crazy. A lot of fun, dude. Holy shit. Okay, I gotta be really careful. So, okay, let's go over some stuff here. First off, ergonomics. It feels almost identical to the Monster 821. It actually does feel a little bit roomier, which is nice. I think that if you're a little bit bigger as far as weight and size, height-wise, this is probably going to fit you a little bit better than the 821. I did feel a tiny bit cramped on that bike. Wasn't a big deal, but it was just something I noticed. This seat feels a little bit roomier. The rider triangle and all of that just feels a little bit roomier than the 821. God, man. The quick shifter up and down feels pretty solid. I have noticed a little bit of a lag going from first to second, but I'm not feeling that from second to third or third to fourth. Dude, that exhaust, man, I'll tell you what, putting an exhaust on this thing, holy shit, wheels floating, wow, okie dokie. So obviously it's a monster, there's really no wind protection at all. With this bike being a little bit meatier and a little bit heavier, it does feel a bit more stable than the 821 did. Once you got up over like 80, 90 miles an hour, this is way more high geared, I've noticed. Like, it wants to be in third gear at 70 miles an hour. That's crazy to think about. Like, what the hell? Dude, the handling on this feels just as easy, just as light and composed as the 821 did. Yeah, I mean, it's just a big brother to the 821. I thought this would feel a little bit heavier, but it handles its weight very well. That front wheel floating does feel a little bit sketchy when you're trying to turn and that's happening. Obviously, you're not going to have a lot of front end feel. I mean, dude, I almost want to be in second gear right now because the power band really hits hard at 6,000. Like, that's where all the power is. So that's one thing, one of the biggest differences between this and the 821. The 821 was just like, you were always kind of in the power band, and it had such a great gear ratio that you could constantly be shifting through the gearbox. This one, I mean, you can stay in, look at this. You can stay in second until like 80, 90 miles an hour. That's crazy. So they did put a couple of aftermarket parts on here. These are Rizoma mirrors, and they actually work really well. Actually, a lot better than the stock mirrors do. No vibration. I can see a lot better out of them. They've got some aftermarket Rizoma reservoirs too, which also look really nice. Damn, look how gorgeous this is. Oh, I love this road. These brakes are definitely better. That is one thing I notice. Man, this is a fun bike. Holy crap, dude. Man, it's crazy how fun this bike is. Let's see, 70 degrees. Here's all the different features up here. You got your ABS is telling me it's on 2, traction controls on 3, wheelie controls on 3. I'm in sport mode right now, so that's full power. This has 1,400 miles, so it's pretty well broken in. And let's see what it says till empty. 93 miles till empty with one. That can't be right. I think that's probably 36. It says 38 miles per gallon is what it was getting. So I don't know. But yeah, man, this very, very comfortable bike, and this feels super composed. Like, man, you could rip this thing. So yeah, as I was mentioning, this is definitely not a beginner bike. So this is for someone who's intermediate to advanced, because it does have those rider modes, and I'm sure Christina could ride this bike. You can ride any bike, really. The difference is this one feels a little bit more intimidating. That power, like, yeah, the brakes are really good brakes. Those M50s are solid, man. Because of the power, it's a lot more intimidating, and even with the wheelie control and the traction control, that front wheel floating, it makes the bike feel very nervous, like, because obviously you can't really turn when it's doing that. So, man, that's gorgeous. Let's see how yeah, wow, dude. You could rip this thing on a track so hard. So effortlessly, it leans over. Man, I don't know if this has a steering stabilizer. I don't see one. I would imagine it does somewhere, but I don't see one right off the bat. I know you can put one on it if it doesn't, but the front end feel when it's not wheeling, it's really good. Man, the ergonomics of this thing, very, very good. I can't even imagine. I hope you guys can hear the exhaust, because I can't even imagine what this would sound like. Well, I've heard it on videos. It sounds so incredible. It has that bark to it. I talked about it in the V2 first ride video. It sounds like a force of nature when you start getting up high in the rev range. It's so good. See that? So you see the front end wiggling? That's because the wheel keeps coming up off the ground, and obviously when you set it back down, if you don't have it perfectly straight, it's going to wiggle a little bit. So it's a little bit scary. You got to be careful. There's a thing called a tank slapper, which happens on motorcycles. It's one of the scariest things you can have happen. So when you lose the front end and it just starts wiggling back and forth, and it shakes so hard that you literally fly off the bike. It's called a tank slapper because the bars are slapping off the tank. So that's one thing. I mean, you'd have to be careful. You can't be a beginner on this bike, because it's going to do things that just scare the shit out of you, and you're going to make mistakes, and all those mistakes are going to be amplified. So like I said, you could definitely start on the 821, keep it in urban or touring mode, and you'd be fine. Christina actually had it in sport mode the whole time she was riding it. This one, I don't know, dude. This is pretty intimidating, and I've been riding for a long time. Just the way that it makes power, but it's fun, man. It's a very comfortable bike. I'm not getting that much wind, and you can put that same windscreen that you have on the 821 on this one as well. But I don't know, maybe it's a little bit beefier up front. I think the tank might be a little bit bigger. This tank is so beautiful. It says 1200S right there. Such cool aftermarket parts you can put on these. Just like something like that little carbon piece right there. Looks so cool. You can make these look so badass. I 100% want to do a build series on one of these. Maybe this might be the next build series bike that we do, because this thing is freaking awesome, guys. All right, let's see how it does on some nice wide open sweepers here. As soon as I twist that throttle, it wants to freaking wheelie and jump all over the place. Dude, man, it's badass, guys. This thing is really cool. There's enough room on the seat that you can slide back and just really kind of lean into it. But like, man, very composed, very stable all throughout the turn. And then you got that grunt to just rip you out of it, even if you're being lazy and you got it in 4th gear. Oh, I'm gonna actually take this road right here, Stagecoach Road. This is a cool road. You guys will like this. Look at that. Look at how gorgeous that is. San Ynez mountain range. Yeah, dude, you got to be careful on this thing. You can get into a lot of trouble. This power is no joke, man. You have to be really careful, especially on these tight, like, technical turns like this. So, I mean, I think an 821 would really shine more on roads like this, which is kind of what I mentioned in my last video, because these are such tight turns. This bike just has a lot more power, a little bit more weight to kind of rip around and move around on. It's going to make stuff like this just a little bit more difficult for you, a little bit more technical, but man, this is fun as fuck, dude. This is a really cool biker spot right here, Cold Springs Tavern. They have such amazing food on the weekends. It's kind of nice right now. Woo! Look how cool that dash is. It goes to black whenever the light goes down. That's really freaking cool. Yeah, so this bike takes a lot more concentration than the 821 does, just because there's so much power. The 821, you just get on it, throw it in sport mode, wring its neck everywhere you go, and just have a blast. This thing is, oh my god, this thing is for somebody who wants to ride the knife's edge, you know, and likes it to scare you a little bit and just wants to get freaking crazy. I mean, this thing is no joke, dude. Man, it's crazy. The gearbox is so long, it's like you don't need anything other than 1st and 2nd gear. This bike is nuts. God. Yeah, you kind of, I mean, you can use it for stuff like this, but I think it really shines on like longer sweepers where you can be in third gear maybe. I mean, this is I have to be really careful. I mean, I'm not an advanced rider. I have a lot of experience, but I don't really ever push myself or bikes to their limits, just because I don't want to wreck. And this bike is capable of a lot more than I am. Whereas that 821, I felt like I could pretty much do whatever I wanted on it. I mean, it's even when the back wheel was sliding around on me and stuff, like, it didn't really bother me because it was a manageable amount of power. This is a lot more intense, but also it is fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look at this, dude. Man, it just, like, it eats up roads so fast. You twist the throttle and the turn's just there. Yeah, this is a completely different beast. What a road. What a freaking road. And it brings me right to my other favorite road, which is Paradise. And that is, I believe, where this bike's really gonna shine. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that this bike really shines on. Where I can be in third gear, a little bit faster turns, and actually I could probably even, yeah, go down in a second, really stay in that power band. Oh my god, yeah, dude. The Öhlins on this, you can definitely notice doing its job. Look at that front wheel. So when I came back here on the Diavel, that bike has a little bit more weight to it, a little bit more heft, and I wasn't getting any head shakes at all on that bike. So me, I'm not one of those people that needs a bike that scares me. This bike definitely scares me a little bit. It's weird because I don't even feel that on the Streetfighter, and I ride that bike really hard. That bike is a lot more compliant. Maybe it's the ergonomics, the nature of the V4, and the winglets. But there's a lot better front end feel for me on that Streetfighter than there is on this. This is a hooligan bike, man. When people talk about hooligan bikes, holy shit balls, this is craziness. But yeah, this shines a lot more on a road like this than that crazy technical short twisty road I was just on. That would have been a lot better for the 821. This suits this bike a lot better. So, you know, if you're looking to get a Monster 1200 or something like that, you definitely need some more wide open roads. I think highway would be a lot better on this. You're gonna have a lot more power on the highway, a lot more stability, but you need some wide open roads to really get the use out of this, or else there's really no point to have it. You know, you see people riding around so much where, you know, riding leader bikes using 8,000 of their RPMs as half the RPM range, you know. But like I said on the 821 video, the fun comes from riding bikes when you can use their power bands and use the power that they have. Oh god, gnarly. That, if you guys could see that on camera, that was a spider that looked like the size of a rat. Holy shit, that was a tarantula. Wow, that is gnarly as fuck. And those things can jump like 10 feet. That thing could have just jumped on me. It better not be on my back. I will murder someone. God, this thing rips. Yeah, honestly, I could see this bike being even better putting a full system with an up map, because the 821 did have that, and I think that it would just open it up a little bit more. It does feel a little bit strangled, not that it's like wanting for power or anything like that, but I think that you might get a little bit more power a little bit faster, and then you would get the sound just amplified. I can feel the sound in there and I can hear it, but it's just not quite completely unleashed. Yeah, like you really have to open it up to get that sound. Man, those downshifts. Yeah, I feel like it would really make a big difference on this bike. So yeah, I said the 821 was in my top 5 bikes. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I think I actually like the 821 better than this bike. This is a bit more serious, and it's just a lot. It takes a lot more concentration to ride. The fun factor obviously is still there. It's a lot more dangerous, man. You need to know how to ride if you're gonna ride this bike, and if you're gonna really rip this thing, you better know what the hell you're doing, because this will bite you fast. You can wreck this very easily. But yeah, there you go, guys. There's my first ride, first impressions review of the 2020 Ducati Monster 1200S. It's a blast to ride, man. It really, really is a fun bike to ride. But it's a very serious bike. You have to be very careful. I mean, I've made mistakes on this riding it where I was a little bit scared, and I'm sure I would get used to it over time and stuff like that. I would have a very tough choice if I was gonna buy one of these, choosing between this and the 821. I never thought I would say that, because I've always thought that having more power is always better, because it's just there if you want it, and you don't need to use it if you don't want it. But I'm starting to realize how fun it is to use a bike's full potential, and I just can't on this one. Maybe after some time getting used to it and all that. It's a serious bike. I do think it'd be sick to do a build series on this in the future. If you guys have ridden both the monsters, the 821, the 1200, let me know if you've noticed similar things. I mean, I'm never gonna use 4th or 5th or 6th gear, I feel like, on this, unless I was doing over 100, because right now I'm not in the power band at all. So when I twist the throttle right now, there's a little bit of a lag. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Jesus Christ, was that a turkey just in the middle of the road? What the hell goes on? Like, you can lope it around town and that's like that, and that's fine, but I like to know that I can feel the engine ready to go, and for me that would be in 2nd gear a lot of the time. So yeah, it's much higher geared than the 821 is. So I don't know, I'll tell you what, man, this is a crazy bike. It is a really good bike, man. For like I said, an expert rider, you would have a blast on this thing. But yeah, that's it right there, guys. Let me know what you thought of the review, what you thought of the video. We've got a lot of good stuff coming to this channel. Thank you, Ducati USA, for sending this bike out to me. I really appreciate it. They watched my 821 video. They saw how much I liked that video, or that bike, and so they sent out the 1200 for me. I really, really appreciate that. And I do these videos to help you guys make informed decisions. If you can't get on bikes, or I mean, ideally you want to take a first ride if you can, to make sure, because you never know, you might love the look of a bike and then you ride it and you don't like it. So I'm trying to give you guys my feedbacks, my feelings, my thoughts from riding so many bikes and riding for so many years, so that you can make informed decisions out there on your own purchases. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's gonna do it. Don't forget, I got tons and tons of first rides on the channel. Pop on over. We do giveaways on the channel. Currently in the process of building and giving away a 2020 Streetfighter and a 2021 Ducati V2 Panigale. So be sure to check those out if you're interested as well. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Woo! Oh my God. Wow. Okie dokie.